Showing people how to do it, then they can get an idea and they can say, you know, I could do that too. This is how they did it. I could do it too.
From private investors to friends and family to even people that follow us.
She will go look on, hey, Ma, you got a meeting? What is that closing happening on such and such street? XYZ. Like,
then they just walk out and they didn't get anything from it. Right. So that was different.
Yeah.
You have to. I mean, I can't tell you, in our industry, so many people are like, oh my God, everything's digital now, and I'm a huge advocate of
So hey guys, I'm back meeting another one of my Real Estate for Beginners panelists. This is Alexis Carrera. She's doing major big things in the real estate industry. Had to get her in here, sit down and have a quick chat. So let's check it out. You heard me.
Hi. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Have a seat.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So hey guys, I'm here with Alexis Carrera. And am I saying the right name?
Yes.
The name, pronouncing it correctly,
Yeah.
because I always get it a little mixed up. So she's going to be another guest on our Real Estate for Beginners panel. And I kind of like to just sit down and talk with the guests and kind of explain to them what Real Estate for Beginners is about. And then at the same time, I can kind of get an idea of what you're doing in your business.
Okay.
So that when we get ready to get on the panel, you know, I have some good questions to talk to you about. Tell us, like, how did you get started in real estate, basically?
I got started in real estate. I kind of always knew that I wanted to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of always knew that I wanted to be a part of it in some aspect. Whether it was like getting my real estate license and building homes or something, I just love real estate. Whether it's commercial buildings, just all of it. I just love the idea. But I look around at buildings and just new developments specifically, and I'm like, cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. And it's not always about the money, but it's one of those, it's growing up in a entrepreneurial family lifestyle that I grew up in. I look at, I guess now, what is I don't like to say easiest way because it's not easy, but what is the most resilient way to build a business and build wealth? People always need a roof over their heads. And real estate is one of the most resilient investment opportunities in the world. Yeah, you know, definitely. Of course, we have our market crashes and things of that nature, but it's one of the safest. I mean, the stock market is up and down every day. People lose hundreds of thousands of dollars within 12 hours. Right. It's not so much like that. It's more of a trickle. When you invest in real estate, it just trickles up, especially in Michigan. We're on fire right now. But I just decided, I was going to college and doing the thing that I thought I was supposed to do. And like everybody else. And I just said, what am I doing? Yeah. And I decided to pull the trigger, and I got out of that and took my real estate course, and here I am.
Great.
My name is Alexis Carrera, and I'm going to be a panelist on the Real Estate for Beginners panel on June 29th.
I'm very excited. I'm going to sit down and have a quick chat with the Monopoly Bros, see what they got going on. Of course, they're guests as well on my panel for Real Estate for Beginners 4. So let's see what they have to talk about. Yeah. How are you?
Good.
Good to see you.
Good to see you as well, for sure.
Have a seat. Good to see you. All right. Have a seat there. Here, I was like, definitely need to bring you guys back, and definitely want to get both of you on, just kind of talk about what y'all got going on. So kind of just give me an idea of what y'all been doing lately.
Yeah, I think, we've been really focusing on mixing wholesaling with flipping. And we've been actually looking at working on partnerships more. So whether that's raising money from private investors to friends and family to even people that follow us, we're just really looking to garner a partnership to take down more projects. Okay. And that's been really fun. That's kind of new for us. Usually this is either like one person or bank money, but now that we're kind of venturing to the individual, it's been awesome to kind of work out partnerships to take down these deals.
Okay, love that. So have you been doing mostly buy and holds or buying flips or both?
Honestly, all three. I mean, between wholesaling, flipping, and buying homes, we literally look at each deal. We say, which one do we want to work on? So it's been all three.
Yeah, our strategy is probably a lot more conservative than a lot of investors in Detroit. But we kind of offset that by, most of our deals we don't really lose money on.
Okay.
We're very particular about what we're buying and what we're going into. And typically when we're going into those, or when we're looking at a deal, we know we can wholesale it, we can keep it as a rental, or we can flip it. That's usually we won't even pursue it if we can't do one of the three. Or all three, actually. Okay. So, and then honestly, what determines that sometimes is the funding source and then our budget too. Because if we're able to keep it at a, let's say 60% of ARV or 70% of ARV, we could probably refinance out of that money. Right. If we go over now, it's like, all right, well, we only got 20% of a profit spread. We might just have to flip this one. Or is this going to be a rehab that might take us a little long? Do we already have other projects going on? Do we kind of need some capital coming back in? Because a lot of people, if you buy and flip, a lot of times you're cash poor. All right, we just need to wholesale this one and get some capital back in so we can keep some things rolling or buy another house. Gotcha. So it truly depends on the deal, where we're at in our cycle of other projects, and also just what we have going on just internally. What's up, everyone? We are the Monopoly Bros. I'm Eric Friday.
I'm Jamil Strickland.
And we will be at the Real Estate for Beginners Conference June 29th. You should be there as well if you're looking to get started in real estate, or if you already have some education or you already have been investing in real estate, specifically Detroit, you need to be there June 29th.
So hey guys, I'm back and I'm meeting with another one of my guest panelists for Real Estate for Beginners 4. Her name is Danielle Dunham. She's doing big things and I'm just happy to be able to sit down and chat with her for a few minutes just to see what she got going on. So that's what we're gonna do now.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Nice to finally meet you in person.
Same here.
Yeah, so so you can have a seat there. Now, just to get a little bit of information about you, can you just kind of tell me like how you got started in real estate, how long you've been in real estate, and how things are going for you?
Okay. So I got my license in 2016. I actually got my license 1 month after I bought my first house. Okay. Right? Yeah. So I am a second generation realtor. My dad was in real estate. So I grew up going to the real estate office, going on showings and things like that. But as an adult, I went to college. I got a really good job. And also my dad had passed away. So kind of wasn't such a forefront in my life until I went through the process of buying my first house, right? Bought my first house, showing houses. Going to see houses. Yeah. And I was like, hey, I should get my license. Like, I did so much research, right? Okay. So before I bought my first house, I went to home buyers classes. I looked into like down payment assistance. I did all this like deep dive into, I want to buy a house, prepping myself, getting my credit ready, all this. So when I bought my first house, I think I got like $21,000 in grants. So when, after I closed and all this stuff, I was like, hey, I need to let more people know that like it wasn't that hard to buy a house. Like of course I did a little bit more research than most, but I didn't spend much money to buy it. I was 26, 27, turning 27 when I bought my house, and I went from a 2-bedroom apartment paying $1,200 to a mortgage of $800. And you save money. So I just had this whole thing. To be perfectly honest, I didn't have a dollar amount attached to being a realtor. I didn't have, I don't even think I knew the breakdown how much realtors make. Yeah. It was just that I needed to let young black people, single mamas know that it's possible that you can buy a house. Right. So I love that. I got my license and I just started talking about it on Facebook. Hit the ground running. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. I think that's
that turns out to be the best realtors, the ones that don't get into it particularly for the money.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more about like either a passion or a true intent.
Yeah.
Like it's like I said earlier, like something that's missing in our community, something as simple as just knowledge and getting information. And you were able to go find out all that information and get like $21,000 in grants.
Yeah.
Like who would have known?
And it was so much money back then, and it's still money now.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm so big on, like, because now that I have a team, it's called the Danielle Dunham Collective.
Okay.
So I work with a lot of new agents, and I'm so big on what is your purpose?
Yeah.
Like, why do you want to get in here? Don't tell me you want to make this amount of money. Tell me why. What do you like about real estate?
Yeah.
What do you want to see happen in real estate? What do you want to change in real estate? Because having a why is going to get you through those bad moments when you ain't selling.
Yeah.
When that deal didn't close, your why going to keep you going. If you don't have a why, then it's going to be a really tough career.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So what would you say your why is?
My why is honestly from the time I started is to really see Black people own homes.
That's great.
And it's not just Black, it's just a lot of people, and I work with people of all demographics. A lot of people don't think it's possible, especially if you don't come from a family that have that background of my mom owned a home, my dad owned a home, my grandma, XYZ of homeowners. If you don't see it, it's not a reality to you. So my thing is I really want to make it a reality. It's believable. It's something you should do. It's not oh yeah, I may buy a house, XYZ. It's something that everyone should accomplish.
Right.
It's not some people do, some people don't know. It's something that's very obtainable. It's very easy. The process is not that difficult. And I just feel like, with buying a house, you just open up so much for your legacy, for your kids. I sold that first house and I sold it for double what I paid for it. And it paid for my next house. Yeah. So it's so important. I just love real estate and the power that it has to really improve your life.
I love that. So, hey guys, I'm back and I'm meeting with another one of my guest panelists for Real Estate for Beginners 4. This is going to be Toni Weaver. She's also a business partner of mine. She's got a lot of good things going on. So I'm going to sit down and have a quick chat with her and see what she got going on lately. Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. Good to see you. Tell us a little bit about how you first got started in real estate.
So initially, I worked in a factory. I was a union rep in a factory. Being a union rep in a factory, you got a lot of free time on your hands. Okay. And
I didn't know that, but okay.
You do. I worked in medical in the office, so I was bored. And so I took the real estate class. Middleton passed it.
I remember Middleton. Are they still around?
I think so.
Okay.
Passed it. The company I worked for paid for it because back then the benefits were excellent.
Okay.
Paid for it. And so my clientele were the people on the plant floor. It was easy. Everybody was making big money.
Of course.
So I was selling brand new houses.
Okay,
and so I
that's perfect.
In addition to the plant money. So that's how I got started. It was just always kind of like a little side thing. And years and years later, after my divorce, not immediately after my divorce, but some years after my divorce, I turned it into you know what, I'm just going to jump out here on faith and try to do this thing full time. So I've been doing real estate related stuff because there's so many different facets.
So many different,
I've been doing that full time for the last 7 or 8 years.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I love how you are kind of intertwining, as you mentioned, like your passions in with real estate as well. So can you speak more on how you plan to go forward with that?
I can, because everybody that I'm supposed to connect to and connect with is kind of just falling into place. And it's been, again, I've been doing some of the same things. The big picture is it's just that I'm helping people.
Yeah.
And that's just who I am.
Yes.
Whether it's really and I think back like when I was a union rep, like I've always had that type of personality, that type of character where I'm protective of my people.
Yeah.
And so I want to help them. And that's all I'm doing is just carrying it on into different areas.
Yeah.
And kind of what I try to teach my children, like, you may not understand where you are in certain jobs or certain settings, but absorb it.
Yeah.
Get something from it because a light bulb will click off down the road like, oh, I know how to do this already.
Definitely.
Because I dealt with something similar.
Yeah.
So going forward, like I said, just the connections to different people who want to see that vision. They want us like, okay, you got women, we got money.
Yeah.
You got women that need this. Oh, I got houses.
Okay.
So that's all coming into play and just trying to figure out on a bigger scale where I can get it. I don't know if I'll be doing it. So now I go into different places and do groups with the women.
Okay.
And I started last week. I told them like, hey, we've been doing all this work for your mental health and blah, blah, blah. I said, but in addition to getting your mind right, we need a plan.
Yeah.
Because you can't stay in this situation where you are. They give you so many months and they're going to be trying to put you out.
Yeah.
So the next thing is, here's a number. Call this lady here because she has houses. I also found out she'll get you from being a renter to a home. Like, so those things. And so even today, we had more women come in they weren't at the last group last week. So I'm like, oh, you weren't there. You need this lady's number. Call her immediately.
Right.
So I'm going to set up a meeting with the lady because I've been giving out her number. So that's my next step.
That is awesome. And I have found that this is so true. When you have a true desire and intention to do something within, it will happen. And I know how you've been trying like for a long time, like to just, what can I do about these people? And I love the fact that at the end of the day, you're just trying to help these people.
That's it.
And it just happened to be how you're making a living as well.
That's the cherry on top.
Yeah.
I'm not chasing money.
Yeah.
The money is the cherry on the top. And that's the one thing that I would want to tell the people that's coming to this conference. Like, don't go into real estate for the money.
So that's what we've been talking about.
You go into it for whatever that passion is. If it's to be free, is it, just certain different things. Focus on that because then it won't feel like a push and pull or a job.
I gotta close this deal. And then at that point, it's like you resisting what's meant to come for you because
it's supposed to flow.
It's supposed to just flow. So hey guys, I'm here today with Black Business Enterprise, Courageous Detroit radio station, and we're gonna do a quick little sit down with them. I'm gonna talk about Real Estate for Beginners 4, and so we'll see what they're talking about.
Georgia. I mean,
I'm a Southern girl. I got a little bit of Southern. We live in
yeah. I mean, I wanna hear more about this. I wanna hear more about Georgia and stuff. So hold that thought, because I wanna hear more about this. And you a Southern girl?
I got a little. I always say I'm a little mixture. I got a little Southern.
Southern swaggy.
Yeah, a little Southern.
Not too much, but you got.
Not too much, but just a little sprinkle. Some little sprinkles.
That's why you like it hot. All right, now they don't mention why you like it hot for nothing.
Yeah,
hey,
that's why. The reason that I started Real Estate for Beginners is just because over the years I've always had people ask me how can they get started in real estate. Like they'll see what I'm doing and they're like, how can I do that too? So my thought was to come up with something that I could speak to a large amount of people and show them how to get started in real estate. So I bring people that are successful in real estate, and they speak to others to show them and tell them how they can get started in real estate. And over the years, it's just become a true passion for me and an intent to bring back the education and the knowledge into our community, because I've discovered that that's what's missing. Like, people simply just don't know. So I decided to bring back the education and the knowledge of my form of success, which is real estate, because that's what I know. So why not share what I know and bring some other people?
Why not share with other people?
So that's what Real Estate for Beginners is all about. Just giving the information, giving back to the community, giving our contribution on how to be successful in real estate.
Yeah. You better.
You got on me. You got a free ticket on me if you want to come.
You better call your boy and let me know. You better do that.
I'll send you all the details.
But no, that's good. That's good. So, but that's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
That's gonna be fun, and the thing, and okay, great. So remind everybody one more time about the event on Saturday.
Yep. So it's June 29th, this Saturday, from 3 to 6 p.m. If anyone is interested, or all across the board, on all of my social media, you can click the link in my profile, my bio. On Instagram, I am Tyraa Nicole. I am Tyraa Nicole on Instagram. Tyraa Nicole on Facebook. You could go to my website, therentagateapp.com. You can get tickets there, or you could just go to Eventbrite and type in Real Estate for Beginners. And or you can reach out to me, info@tyranicole.com, info@tyranicole.com, or you could just Google Tyraa Nicole, and I'm sure you'll find my information there somewhere, and I'll give you information on how to get tickets.
There it is. Absolutely. There it is.
Okay, we are going to go ahead and get started. And so we're going to let our vendors wrap up their final selection. How is everyone doing today? Doing good? Are you excited to be at the 4th Real Estate for Beginners? Can I get a round of applause? The 4th Real Estate for Beginners. Tyraa Nicole is my real sister, and my blood sister, and every time she hosts one of these events, I can't help but feel like a proud big brother. She has made her mark when it comes to real estate. There's so many that have been inspired by her, but also has followed her blueprints for success. I remember the day she told the family that she was deciding to be a real estate agent, and I was like, you doing what? Real estate? What? And I gotta remember, this is like, not to tell our age, this is like 24 years ago. Like, this was a long time ago. And for as long as I never put her in a specific category or industry. It was like, it's my little sister, and she does a lot of different things. I know she liked to write, and I know she liked to take care of her family, but she worked at the bank and she did different things. And when she started talking about real estate, I never heard her talk like that. Like, the energy was different. You can tell her drive had changed, and she was clearly on this mission to change things. And I was super excited for her. And that journey has brought us to this place where now she literally inspires hundreds and hundreds of people, teach them the game, essentially. But she also has a passion for women. She has a passion for helping girls achieve their dreams. And it's really, really cool as a big brother to watch that happen. So I'm super impressed, excited, and proud to call her my sister. Okay, so yeah, she deserves it.
All right, guys, so we are the RPR podcast. I am Brooke Jones, aka the Millennial Agent.
What's up, guys? I'm your girl Tyraa Nicole.
And I am Nicole Pay, and we are so excited to have all of you here on this incredibly muggy and hot day.
But we're gonna make it through because
AC is kicking in.
It's kicking in, y'all. We promise. But thank
And
you
we put
so
some
much.
more waters over there too, so want some waters or refreshments? Feel free.
We appreciate you guys being here, and thank you so much for joining us. We have an awesome panel for you guys.
Yes.
You guys ready for it? Brooke, you want to tell everyone where
You
they
guys
can find
ready?
us?
Yeah, so you can find us on the Realist People in Real Estate on YouTube. We post videos every Monday at 7 p.m. And if you would like to be on the podcast, you can head over to our Instagram, RPR Podcast. In the link tree, just click the link and you can take your spot and come be on the podcast with us.
Come join us.
Come join us. All right, you guys ready to get this started?
Yeah, we're gonna
Let's
get
go.
started. Let's see. We're gonna invite the real estate panel up.
All right, so we got Tony Weaver.
Hey, Mr.
We have Miss Alexis Carrera.
There she is.
All right, and next we have the stage, Miss Tiffany Turntine. Welcome, welcome.
And lastly, we have Danielle Dunham.
All right. Tony, we're going to start with you. If you were to give someone a piece of advice or recommendation who wanted to get into real estate, what would that be?
So it's going to be kind of not traditional. My advice would be mindset. Like the young lady just said, you have to create the job. Like, it's not what the flashiness and the cars and all that stuff that you see like on social media. It starts here. So invest in that. I like to call myself a holistic realtor because I'm so passionate about getting your internal self together with regard to whatever you decide to get into, especially real estate, because you can find yourself like depressed because you may come into it thinking it is one way and it's not. So you have to have a strong mindset. So invest in that. Reach out to other people. There are people that gatekeep, but for the most part, there's a lot of people that want to see other people succeed. So if you get a no, build that strength up to okay, I got that no, let me see what this one says, and you'll eventually get a yes. But you have to be strong and not want to quit, because it gets tough. It's not as easy as it looks. So my advice would be to invest in yourself and to have a strong mindset that you will stick to it. If you find what your why is and you know that this is what you want to do, then don't let nobody deter you from doing it, no matter how bleak it looks at times. Say, no, okay, it didn't work today. Let me figure out a different route because I still got the same goal.
What are some of the struggles that you face as a real estate agent, and what would you recommend to anyone getting in the business to be prepared for?
So it was pretty much what I just said. I'm so sorry, Tyraa, what's your brother's name?
Rob.
Okay, so what Rob was saying about the community, the content, consistency, like all of that, again, as a realtor, we have to create a job. And when I got started, I was passionate. I loved people, I loved houses. So I would get people and I would get like clients and different things like that, but I didn't have the structure that I needed. And so I think for me, one of my biggest struggles was starting off and being independent for so long. Something that I love, that I'm sure she'll probably get into, because I think Danielle's probably the only one that has a team up here. I think it's so important to probably be a part of a team as a new agent. At least for me, everybody's not the same. You're asking about struggles, so hopefully I can, talk to certain people. I am a structured person in the sense that if you give it to me, I'm gonna run with it. Like anybody here, you give me your business, I'm taking it to the next level. So one of my biggest struggles was really having that structure, because I'm an I personality. Like y'all can see, like I'm super bubbly. I can talk to the people. I'm gonna bring the people in, but then you have all of that other stuff that you have to do. So I would say that was one of my biggest struggles, is what I said, like creating the job for myself. And what I mean by that is, if you've ever had a 9-to-5, you know what that looks like. You know when you go to work, exactly what you're doing, but all the behind the scenes stuff that helps that company to flow is not just the work that you do in the 9-to-5. It's the taxes, it's the accounting person, it's the this person and that person. And so for me, my biggest struggle was creating the job. And because I've done it so long and I've been very, very honest with myself, now I don't necessarily carry the same struggles, if you will. I think for now, it's the struggle of things like, listen, this house was exactly what you asked. What are you talking about? You want to go see something else? Like, those are the struggles I carry now, but because I know this is real estate for beginners, I would say my biggest one was being independent for so long and not having that struggle that I needed. So I always recommend, even if it's not forever, just connect to a team, like connect to somebody that will give you that structure so that you can go in and fly and you're not just out here for years with licenses and wasting money. So that was my biggest struggle at the beginning, is I did not have the struggle. I was independent for way too long.
Yeah, I love it. It's always gonna be a struggle, but kind of like Tony said, you gotta just kind of keep going, keep trying to figure out ways to keep making it happen.
So you have to. I mean, I can't tell you, in our industry, so many people are like, oh my God, everything's digital now, and I'm a huge advocate of everything digital, and simplicity is key. But at the end of the day, digital, great, but I'm not everywhere, right? So if I'm not everywhere, if I'm in a women's bathroom at a restaurant or something, I'm gonna leave my business card on the toilet or by the sink. Heck yeah, and I got a QR code on the back of it too. I mean, I put them everywhere. I don't care if I don't care if I'm at the strip club. I don't care. They are everywhere. I don't care if I'm in a different state.
Everyone's gotta buy a house.
Everyone's gotta buy a house. I don't care if I'm in a different state because somebody knows somebody knows somebody knows somebody. I was on the west side of the state just last week and somebody was like, hey, they were talking about real estate and I, of course, was sitting at the bar and I barged my nose right into the middle of the conversation. And I said, well, I'm in real estate. And I was like, and I have a network because here's the greatest thing about real estate is no matter where you are, especially with EXP Realty, I can send a referral and take a referral fee for somebody that can sell real estate out on the west side of the state. Now I just take 30% of a sale by making a connection, by doing absolutely nothing. But at the end of the day, that person said, well, guess what? My father actually is looking to sell their house in Clarkston. I just got a client. So you never know. The other thing is, you guys, you have to have thick skin, and she said it over there. If you have thin skin, you're in the wrong business, because you will get mowed over real quick. And be nice. Always be nice to everybody.
Love it. That's great advice. Thank you so much, Alexis. What's the best way, do you think, to obtain clients, and how do you stay afloat in this business?
So the best way to obtain clients is social media. It's the freest and best, right? You gotta get out there. People gotta know who you are. So I think realtors, realtors, just people in general, right? When you're selling a product or you're in business, I don't care if you sell food, you sell clothes or shoes, you market, right? But we don't sell, we sell a house, of course we'll market that house, but we are selling ourselves, right? A person picks me as a realtor because, oh, I can relate to her. Oh, she reminds me of someone. Like when I talk about, because in business you gotta know your target market. I know my target market is single moms, young Black professionals, young couples. I know who my main clients are. Most of my clients are women, right? So when I talk about different things, I talk about my daughter and her being at school and XYZ, and it's a lot of people that can relate to that, right? I don't always gotta say, hey, I'm Danielle Dunham and I'm a realtor and I would love to sell you a house. I don't always gotta make it that way, right? What's the second part to that question?
How do you stay afloat in this business?
Oh, hard work. You know why I know I do better than most realtors? Because I work harder. I have an office. I go to my office at probably about 8, 7 if my daughter is in school, and I don't probably leave till about 6 or 7, right? I don't care if I have a client to show, it's something I'm working on my business. I have my days where I work on my business, my days I work in my business, but I make sure to always work on my business. I always try to make events like this or learn. I I travel to seminars. I am always looking into what's changing in this market. I study my craft, right? As well as I follow my people. Most of my clients come from my sphere. So that's my friends, that's my old co-workers, my people from high school. I just had a closing on Friday, and I talked about how the person who bought a house I went to high school with. It's probably not a person I went to high school with that hasn't bought a house for me, right? Like if I go to, there's a reunion right now, it's probably the majority of my clients because I connect, but people think it's always about what you post. It's about what you interact. I don't miss a birthday. I don't miss oh girl, you look cute. Oh, he getting big. I interact with my clients. So the biggest way to grow is because as realtors, when we collect people, you have to connect with people, right? I'm your good home girl. We can talk about anything. When I promote real estate or I talk about buying a house, I'm not just saying you gotta have a 700 credit score to talk to me. I'll talk to you with that 400 because it's nothing but a conversation. It's free. I'm always willing. I'm there. I teach. You have to meet people where they at, and when you meet people where they at, it just blossoms. Personally, that's how my business grown. And then also being good at what you do, actually studying your craft, not just selling stuff and hey, I know how to do this. No, I'm gonna go take this training because I want to learn this about the business, or I heard this is changing, or what can I do to promote myself? What can I do to make my open house better? I always want to get better. I'm always looking to scale my business. So steady, working in your business, connecting to people, focusing on being excellent in what you do, focusing on your craft, really, really trying to mature this craft, it's gonna lead to your success.
But this is one of my real good friends. Ladies and gentlemen, give a warm welcome to Ebony Cochran.
But when we talked about what is your why, this is, for me, when I started investing again, my why was to create trust fund babies. I don't know nobody who got a trust fund. My kids do. That's why I get up and do what I do, right? So I could get up, I could have took that $15,000 and bought a Chanel bag.
Yeah. One thing
to do what? To say I got a Chanel bag?
The people that be modest really be the people who really out here crushing it. So you can't always look at the Bentley that pull up and the Chanel bags and having a heart to serve is like super important.
And I'm not knocking people that reward themselves with that. My mind frame, I come from poverty. My mind frame is just a little different, right? So I retired my parents and I want them to continue to have their feet up. So if that means that I don't get this bag, I don't even want the bag, to be honest with you. But because I wasn't raised with that, so that doesn't quench my thirst. That deal I'm telling you about, that got me hype. I want to repeat that. I'm trying to go find something else.
Trust, like that.
Order
when
trust.
I saw that post, I was like, man, that's
The attorney told me, oh my God, I don't know anybody that has all of this stuff. I'm like, damn, okay. Because he had to work a little harder to put those properties in there. But I'm just like, you look like me. You should be happy I'm coming in here and doing this, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, I just feel that way. Like, hopefully somebody in here doesn't have their family go through probate fighting.
Yeah.
Why am I working this hard?
You still got to go to probate. So
why am I working this hard for my kids, my husband, my parents to go fight for my stuff in probate when I could be responsible today, right? And take a little time, a little money, a couple of meetings with an attorney, and get it together. Like, that's being responsible.
What would be the best advice for someone who wanted to start out, or what would be the first step for someone who would want to get into that?
Run for your life. I'm just kidding. It's awesome, there's well, I don't know if I can answer that in a couple minutes, but what I can tell you is there are so many options in the short-term rental space, and it's extremely diverse. And by that, I mean there are markets, and you have to look at the markets, and why are people coming to that market? What does that market need? I want to have a luxury home, and I'm going to go do it in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Well, are you sure? Do people require luxury homes in Fort Wayne, Indiana? So you just have to understand your data, you have to understand where you're going and what you're doing and where you're buying, and is it going to work? Is your idea going to work? Because during COVID, you know, Airbnb got a really sexy name. It was really popular and everybody wanted to get into the short-term rental space. And if you got on Instagram, you thought it was like everybody was going to quit their jobs being like neurosurgeons and they were going to become Airbnb hosts. But it's like, it's not easy. There's nothing easy about the space. It might be the most active and least passive side of real estate because you're in the hospitality space. That's what you're doing, right? And so you have to align it with your goals and what do you want. And you know, for me, it's a very simple goal. I want a $100 million real estate portfolio, and I want to do it all in single-family residential. Well, it doesn't have to be. It has to be in residential, not single-family. And the reason for that, I'm not a commercial guy. I love residential. This is going to get a little off topic, maybe, but I don't know what AI is going to change. I know that people are losing their jobs left and right. I know tens of thousands of people are losing their jobs all over the country. But we know that the number one and most important thing in the world for people is to have a roof over their head, right? And so residential to me is the safest and the most predictable thing to buy in real estate. And so I'm ultimately using the McDonald's model, right? Anybody here have a guess what McDonald's is, what kind of company they are? Real estate. They're the 7th largest real estate portfolio in the world, right? And so I'm using their model. I'm basically just buying really nice real estate. And I say really nice because they don't go in the alley. They don't buy, you know, on the back streets. They go and buy the corner property on the most busy streets in every city. That's where they're buying the real estate. And they've got, frankly, a business. It's not a burger business because we can all probably make burgers better than McDonald's, right? So they use their business to pay for their real estate. So I always said, well, if I want to get to 100 million, I'm going to reverse engineer that. How do I take from a $100 million real estate portfolio and I want to get there in 5 years? Well, if my average purchase price is $1.5 to $2 million on a residential property, well, I only need to get to 50 properties. So I hear people say I want to get to 1,000 doors. God bless them. That's amazing. That means you got 1,000 water heaters, 1,000 air conditioners, 1,000 heaters, and all these problems that you have to deal with. I don't want all of that. I really, truly do not want all of that. I want 50. Like, that's all I want. And that just aligns with my goals, right? So for me, I knew I had to buy in markets where I could get tenants that would pay a mortgage payment for me that's going to be somewhere in the $10,000 to $15,000 a month range. So I focused on luxury markets, Scottsdale, California, beach markets, Disney World, like all these places that are very popular that regardless of the economic status in the world, you know that people that have money and are traveling in a luxury fashion, they are able to travel regardless of whether the economy is up or down. They are kind of recession proof. So I was targeting them. I was targeting the Ritz-Carlton guests. That was just me. Doesn't mean it's the right way or the wrong way, or there's so many ways to do it. So you just have to really align with your goals. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to align with your goals. Coming back to the answer, understand what you want, reverse engineer that, break it down into years, and how do I take action then to achieve that 1 year at a time, right? But don't just fall forward and just say, well, I'm going to try this, and then I'm going to try this, and I'm going to try this, without actually having a goal and taking action towards your goal.
Hurdle that you guys have faced?
It changes. I think somebody asked a question earlier. I think somebody asked about like, should I use a HELOC or should I use somebody asked me like, should I take money in my home? Somebody asked about business, right? I'm learning that the hurdles changes. I think right now the current biggest hurdle is efficiency on rehabs, efficiency on rehabs and raising more money. So if we want to be able to do those, we have to go raise money at a different level. But a year ago, that wasn't the biggest hurdle. The biggest hurdle was, how the heck can we get some money? I have no more. So they changed throughout. I think the biggest thing that we're learning though is that it's okay for the hurdles to change as long as the goal doesn't change. I think that's the most important part. And then the second part is, every hurdle that we face, somebody's faced it, so how can we learn from them to understand it? And I think that's what changed the game. And the biggest thing that's been the biggest game changer with me, in the last month, is I've been studying. Somebody said, you want to be the best, study the greats. And so I've been studying the greats, and I start asking myself questions and kind of have a real conversation with myself, like deep conversation, like who are the best investors in the world? And if you ask yourself that, you may route some people on IG or route some people you don't know. So I started figuring out who they were. Okay, Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett, Lilu, Manish Pabrai. People don't know none of these people's names. So I said, okay, I gotta change who I am as a person to get through these hurdles. And all these great investors, these great versus real estate, I start studying what they're doing because I want to be the best. So, answer your question, hurdles change all the time, but now I'm trying to get to a spot where I can always find answers. And sometimes those answers are just going straight to the top and who the best are and learning like that.
Let's go to KJ. What advice would you give someone that is new and looking to get into investing in real estate?
I say simplify everything. I mean, because I think a lot of times we are worst enemies. We want to know everything before we get started. The biggest thing is really just getting the fucking game, to be honest. Like, just go for it. You're not gonna have it all figured out. Even for me, like, I didn't know anything about business and personal credit when I got started. I had great personal credit, and the thing I learned was that, yeah, it looks good. Yeah, I got this 800 plus credit score. I'm doing this, but it wasn't working for me. So I was willing to take a risk. I know I had good credit, but I had to put it to use. And so what I say, when I was going to events like this, but also my way to get in was to go meet the contractors, go out, work with my dad, go to find different electricians, heating and cooling contractors. Those are my partnerships that I want to develop because realistically, the rehab doesn't necessarily cost a lot. You cost because of what you don't know. And they charge you, you need a full rewire. I remember a guy, when I was getting started, he tried to charge me 20 grand for electrical rewire. For me, that's ridiculous. I'm not paying that. And instead of paying that, I paid for myself to go to school. So now I'm right now pursuing my electrical license that cost 20 grand. And so for me, it was that I had to go to land bank because I know I wanted to, when I got started, and I'm centered in the city of Detroit. And so I remember I wanted to buy in Bagley, University District. I'm looking at Sherwood Forest. Can I do this for a primary? But if I want to do investments, I couldn't afford that. So I had to go off of Tyraa. I got started on the back end. So then that's how I started. But then I saw it was a great opportunity in the Grand River corridor for somebody like me. So I knew the means of entry. I bought my first 2 deals in like the conventional MLS route, finding something that was low, putting money into it, but then I realized I had to do basically everything. It just cost me a lot to get started. So instead of paying like $30,000, $25,000.
You open up the door. I'm going to be meeting with Sheila Johnson in a couple months at her hotel that she has. And I was, telling her, I haven't met her yet, but I was talking to somebody that's our connect, because she's, done a lot of real estate and dealt with a lot of men. And she was saying the same thing, don't pull back. Be a girl, but communicate what your goals are and keep showing up. Don't be the ditzy girl. Be like, okay, what's going on today? Did you get the foundation done? Ask the questions. Let them know that you're paying attention to the details. And even if you come into, even when it's high conflict, I always stay calm. Even if I feel away or something didn't happen that I wanted to happen or whatever, stay calm. Stay out of your feelings and think about the bottom line. Your emotional intelligence has to be on high because there's gonna be stuff that come up that you be like, nah, that's on my nerves. Literally, this happened just yesterday. I had a plumber, he was working in my apartment building because I had a crack stack pipe, right? So he went there, it was his first time going. He calls me, I said, call me with the price before you fix it, because I want to know, what this gonna look like before I give you a go. So he calls, he says, hey, the police are here and they're trying to arrest me. He carries, right? And I'm like, wait, okay, put me on speakerphone. So I'm like, officer, he's not intruding. He is working, doing work for me as a plumber. But he was bringing all of that, I was like, Ray, shut up, bruh. I'm trying not to get them to take you down there. So what am I saying? Use the heart that God is giving you as a woman to establish real relationships with everybody on the team.
Okay.
Please don't stop the music. Please don't stop the music. Please don't stop the music.
3, 2, go.
So hey guys, I'm back and I'm meeting another. Start over. Looking forward to that.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
You're welcome. So one thing I want to add to this that I've been totally forgetting to do. Can you look in the camera and just say real quick,
your name, and that you're going to be at Real Estate for Beginners June 29th. Just something to that effect.
Yeah. Should I say my
I'm gonna
name?
be a
You
guest.
said my name?
Yep, and I'm gonna be a guest on the real estate panel at Real Estate for Beginners.
Okay.
June 29th.
Okay.
All right, we can go in 3, 2, go.
I'm Alexis Carrera, and I'm going to be one of the panelists at the Real Estate for Beginners podcast. Oh, it's not a podcast.